Luxury designed for people who hate luxury. They didn't come looking for indulgence. In fact, many of them actively avoided it. Loud statements, excessive service, spaces that tried too hard to impress. For these guests, luxury had become exhausting. This hotel was built for them. From the outside, nothing announced prestige. No dramatic entrance. No symbols of wealth. No visual shorthand signaling that this place was special. It looked almost ordinary, and that was intentional. To understand why this mattered, we need to look at a quiet shift in who luxury was serving. A growing number of travelers no longer wanted to be impressed. They wanted to be left alone, not isolated, but unbothered, free from performance, free from attention, free from the social theater luxury often demanded. Traditional high-end hotels struggled with this audience. Their language was wrong. Excess felt intrusive. Service felt performative. Even comfort felt staged. The more they tried to prove quality, the more these guests disengaged. This hotel chose subtraction instead of persuasion. Rooms were practical, not dramatic. Materials were durable, not precious. Spaces felt functional before they felt beautiful. Nothing glittered. Nothing asked to be admired. Luxury was not presented as a reward. It was treated as a baseline. Service followed the same logic. Staff were present but unassuming. No forced friendliness. No constant check-ins. Help appeared when needed, then receded. The hotel respected distance without creating coldness. At first, this confused people. Guests kept waiting for the luxury to begin, for the reveal, for the moment where the experience justified itself. But nothing escalated. Nothing arrived to impress them. And then something unexpected happened. Without pressure to admire or react, guests relaxed. They stopped evaluating. They stopped comparing. The hotel did not demand appreciation, and that absence felt strangely generous. But designing luxury for people who dislike luxury carried a serious risk. If nothing looked special, if nothing felt indulgent, how would value be understood? How would the hotel survive without speaking the language of aspiration? As the first guest settled in, the team watched closely. Would this audience recognize what the hotel was offering? Or would restraint be mistaken for indifference? Recognition arrived slowly, through behavior rather than praise. Guests stopped searching for highlights. They unpacked fully. They moved through the space as if it belonged to them, not as if they were visiting something curated for approval. This was the first signal the team had hoped for. People who hated luxury did not want to be entertained. They wanted to be unburdened. Without spectacle, the mind stopped performing. Without excess service, social defenses lowered. The hotel did not ask guests to receive care. It allowed them to exist without negotiation. The conflict emerged when expectations collided with habit. Some guests, conditioned by traditional luxury, interpreted restraint as lack. They requested upgrades that didn't exist, asked what experiences were included, searched for the premium layer. There was none. The hotel refused to escalate. No secret menus. No hidden perks. What you saw was what you got, and what you got was enough. For some, this was disappointing. For others, it was clarifying. Over time, a pattern formed. Guests who stayed longer adapted. They stopped waiting for something to happen and began noticing how little they needed. Without constant service interruptions, time opened up. Without performative friendliness, interactions felt genuine. Staff noticed a change as well. Conversations grew simpler. Requests became fewer. Gratitude felt quieter but deeper. The absence of indulgence removed the social choreography that often exhausted both guest and host. This revealed the hotel's deeper purpose. Luxury had been misunderstood as excess, when in fact it was about relief. Relief from effort. Relief from performance. Relief from being managed. For guests who hated luxury, this place offered something radical. Nothing to navigate. Nothing to impress. Nothing to endure. But this clarity raised a final tension. If luxury could exist without aspiration, without fantasy, without visible reward, then what was it really offering? And how long could such an unassuming idea survive in a market built on desire? The answer emerged not through theory, but through contrast. Guests would leave and re-enter spaces where luxury still demanded attention, where service hovered, where design tried to impress, where every detail asked to be noticed. And suddenly, those environments felt heavy. Returning to this hotel felt like exhaling. The emotional conflict reached its peak when guests realized something unsettling. They had not been enjoying luxury itself. They had been tolerating it. The effort required to participate, to respond correctly, to appreciate properly, to engage politely, had been draining them for years. This place removed that effort entirely. There was no performance expected, no reaction required, no social contract hidden beneath generosity. Luxury here did not ask guests to admire it, thank it, or validate it. It simply worked. This created an unexpected loyalty. Guests who once avoided luxury altogether began returning regularly, not because the hotel felt indulgent, but because it felt neutral in the best possible way. It did not compete for attention. It did not require interpretation. It did not need to be justified. The team recognized the danger immediately. As word spread, the hotel risked becoming ironic luxury, a place people came to prove they were above luxury. That would undo everything. Restraint would become another form of signaling. The hotel refused to play along. No messaging was changed. No narrative was added. The experience remained quiet, almost stubbornly so. Anyone seeking identity or statement quickly lost interest. Those seeking ease stayed. This was the emotional peak. By refusing to define itself, the hotel protected the people it was designed for. Those who hated luxury did not want a new category. They wanted escape from categories altogether. The hotel had succeeded not by redefining luxury loudly, but by removing it gently from the experience. And with that success came one final question. If luxury could exist without being noticed, without being named, without being desired, was it still luxury at all, or had it become something more essential? The answer revealed itself through use, not definition. Guests stopped debating whether the place qualified as luxury. They stopped trying to name the experience at all. What mattered was how it felt to be there, and how difficult it was to return to environments that demanded performance afterward. This was the true climax. Luxury, stripped of spectacle, aspiration, and excess, did not disappear. It condensed. What remained was not indulgence, but alignment. Everything worked without commentary. Nothing asked for attention. Nothing needed justification. The hotel had become something quieter than luxury. It had become livable. Guests described a strange recalibration after leaving. They noticed how often spaces elsewhere asked them to react, admire, validate. How frequently comfort came with invisible obligations. How exhausting it was to be managed, impressed, and curated for. This place had asked none of that. It did not flatter. It did not perform. It did not sell fantasy. It simply removed friction until nothing remained between the guest and ease. Over time, the hotel's audience refined itself naturally. Those seeking symbols moved on. Those seeking relief returned. The place did not chase desire. It waited for people who no longer wanted to be desired by the space they occupied. Luxury designed for people who hate luxury did not replace one status language with another. It ended the conversation entirely. And in doing so, it revealed a deeper truth, that the highest form of comfort may not be indulgence, but neutrality. A place that does not ask you to want it. A place that does not care who you are. A place that simply lets you be. Sometimes the smallest shift in perspective becomes the beginning of a new future. Luxury